The NFL is working on a kickoff proposal that would involve teams kicking off from the opponent's 40-yard line with the goal of increasing returns. Now, this is pretty interesting because this is very similar. The way it's okay, let me read you the rules first. Here are some of what involves per Albert Breer. No player except the kicker and returner can move until the ball is touched. If the ball doesn't cross the 20-yard line in the air, it's treated as out of bounds, and the receiving team gets possession at their own 40-yard line. If the kicker kicks the ball into the end zone on the fly, a touchback results in the ball being placed at the 35-yard line, as opposed to the previous rule of the 25-yard line. The essence of the idea is to increase returns, which will also be reducing space and speed in the play, addressing a major issue that has led to more injuries. Now, this is very interesting, and I don't know how many of you guys are tapped into spring football or the XFL, but this seems very similar to the way the XFL did it. I don't know if they had the rules governing, like, if you kick it over, it's a touchback. If you kick it too short, it's we're getting it here and there, like it's played as a out of bounds ball. But kicking it from opponent's 40-yard line. So they're kicking it from their opponent's 40-yard line. So the ball's not even traveling that much. So it's really like a pooch kick. You're really just like sky kicking it over. It's really just a kick to set up the return. This is them trying to incentivize the return to come back into the game. We want more returns in the games. We want guys taking kicks back. We want to see return touchdowns. The fans want to see it. Everybody wants to see it. So this is them trying to find a way to bring the return back into the game because, I mean, as people see, we see less and less returns year after year. Like, there's less people taking kicks back. There's less people doing things like that, going to the crib on kickoff returns, punt returns. I think punt returns, we still see a good bit of those, but kickoff returns are kind of null and void, man. Like it's looking rough for people to try to take for people who try to take kicks back. We don't see a lot of kickoff returns, and that's a really exciting play of the game. So I think this is them trying to figure out a way to fix that. But the biggest issue on the kickoff has always been the injury rate and the amount of players getting hurt. So I think them adding in this, or them looking at adding in this rule, them proposing this rule change would be them trying to, one, bring the kickoff back, but them also trying to keep players healthy. And that's something, if you guys haven't seen the XFL, if you guys haven't watched any of the XFL, go back and watch the 2023 XFL season. They did a kickoff very similar to that, and I think they had a few returns, but it's interesting. It's interesting. It's different, and people are always going to be resistant to change, but I think it's something that could work if done correctly. So yeah, you guys let me know what you guys think about that. Do you guys miss the kickoff return in the game? Do you guys think the kickoff return needs a return? Do you think this proposal could work? I think it could work. I think it could be very interesting. I think if nothing else, it's something that they should try out for a year or two and go back to the table and say, were our injuries down? Yes or no? I'm sure they probably would be down because there's less, space, distance between the players making contact. I think there'd be less injuries, but, they'd have to try it out for a year or two and go back to the table and be like, did this work out? Because I think there was a year that they put in a rule where you could review pass interference and you could review pass interference calls. And I think they only tested it out for a year. I don't think they really liked it, and I think they took it out. I can't remember if it was pass interference calls, but they put some rule a couple years ago in for like a year just to test it out, and they didn't really like it, so they took it out. I think that's something that they should do with this. That's something that they should do with this return rule. Put it in, see how it does, see what the return rate is, see what the injury rate is, see what all those things are, see how the fans like it as well, and go from there. Because as it stands right now, we're seeing guys take kicks back to the 20, 25, fair catching it. They might get back to the 40, 45, but we don't see many returns anymore, and we definitely still see a lot of injuries on that play. So that's definitely something that, probably needs to be looked at, and I'm hoping that they come to a solution that will be able to work for all the players and, for all the leagues, all the coaches, everybody else involved.